Some major news as Logan Paul has left WWE. He confirmed on his podcast, Impulsive, that he is done with the company. We are going to talk about what this means, exactly what Logan Paul had to say about this, and of course, what the future could hold for Logan Paul in pro wrestling. Is he headed to AEW? We're going to talk about it here. We're also going to talk about a pretty major problem for WWE when they switch over to Netflix that many people may not know about, that is going to impact millions upon millions of viewers all across the world. We're going to talk about it right here. Find out everything you need to know. YouTube.com/Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, enough of that. Let's get down to brass tacks and talk about Logan Paul. He, of course, just came off of a pretty major run as the United States champion before losing to LA Knight, at SummerSlam earlier this August. Now, though, it looks like Logan Paul is indeed done with the company. He said the following on his Impulsive podcast. It's a aggregation from WrestleOps. Logan Paul has claimed he's retired when asked about being at WrestleMania 41. Quote, "I'm retired. I'm a dad, bro." So, of course, that right there, Logan Paul saying that he is retired, and in essence, he is done with WWE. Now, this kind of has been met with both believability and also a bit of skepticism, and I think rightfully so. Let's look at the reality of the situation. Logan Paul has all of the incentive in the world, I think, to stay in the WWE family, and I think at the end of the day, that is what's going to happen. I don't think that Logan Paul is going to go off and, be completely done and not around wrestling. However, I also think that he understands he's got a very successful, one of the most successful podcasts in the entire world. He's got the ability to promote fights that he's not even on the cards of and make tons of money like that. And if he ever does want to have a boxing match or whatever, he's going to be able to go do that and draw tens of millions of dollars. So for him, he's looking at this probably and being like, all right, look, I have done the professional wrestling thing. I have made a considerable amount of money. He has definitely increased the visibility on Prime, which is his main brand that he has been promoting. He's been promoting his pretty shitty energy drinks and fake Gatorade. But regardless, Logan Paul has made a bunch of money doing that, and WWE, by putting the Prime logo on their mat, by putting the Prime hydration station over at ringside, they obviously have gotten a lot of eyeballs on that product, and I think that was one of the main goals of Logan Paul's run in WWE. Obviously, from a personal standpoint, I'm sure some part of him definitely has always wanted to compete in WWE, be a wrestler, all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, I think it was just, at the end of the day, a business decision. And as many business moves go, at a certain point, you come to a decision where you're like, all right, we don't need to do this anymore. And Prime is already on the mat. I'm sure that was part of the deal of bringing Logan Paul in and having him appear quite frequently. Logan Paul appeared when he was the United States champion nearly like every other week on SmackDown, which is significantly more than people expected. He was a mainstay on SmackDown, and for someone who people consider to be a part-timer, he was more full-time than many of their full-time champions. So it was a very weird thing there, and I think that's also why you saw or you've seen Logan Paul be like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. As far as what the future holds, like I said before, I do think that Logan Paul will end up staying within the WWE family. I feel like the relationship between him and WWE it's just too close, and it's just too mutually beneficial. Like, the idea that he would go to AEW, I don't ever see that happening. Not only because Prime still has an exclusive deal with WWE for that advertising spot, but also the amount of money it would probably take AEW to get Logan Paul, because again, for AEW, it's like less of a mutually beneficial situation. It really only benefits AEW, And while Logan Paul would be able to get his product in front of people, how many eyeballs is he really going to do it in front of? And is it going to be the degree where he's willing to take a little bit of money off the table like he probably did with WWE? I highly doubt it. Regardless, though, Logan Paul looks like he's done with WWE for the time being. I could see him coming back and doing like a program or two. I do think eventually one day we are going to get to the point where we have that big Jake Paul, Logan Paul match, whether it's a tag team match or potentially, like I've always predicted, the only way these two are ever going to be across from each other in a combat sports setting would be in a WWE ring. And I do believe that that would happen in WWE, and that's the only way that that would ever happen. So, like I said, we'll see. Anyway, we'll see. I'm sure whenever that happens, they are going to sell a lot of tickets. And if you want to buy one of those, you guys know where to go. SeatGeek, people. Let's talk about it real quick. SeatGeek, best sports ticketing app out there today. And today, I'm going to save you, yes you, $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code REALTAKE. Yes, $20 off. How do you get that? Here's what you do. You click the link in the description below. You go on SeatGeek, you sign up, give them your information, all that kind of wonderful stuff. And then all you got to do is pick out your ticket, whether it's Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, NXT, hell, AEW, doesn't matter. Go pick your ticket. Bada bing, bada boom. Put your information in there, and at checkout, use the promo code REALTAKE. I messed that up. I flubbed, but we're going to go with it. Use the promo code REALTAKE, though, guys. It is going to save you $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 for you to keep to yourself. That's $20 for you to spend at the arena. Whatever you want to do, $20 in your wallet. Promo code REALTAKE, SeatGeek. Please check it out. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about our next and final topic. This is a pretty major thing. We got a big problem with WWE on Netflix, everyone, and it's going to impact, like I said before, millions upon millions of people around the world. So, as WWE prepares for the big move over to Netflix on January 6th for Monday Night Raw, there's also another major move that people haven't really spoken about, that being the entire international library, the entire international streaming rights to WWE moving over to Netflix. Meaning if you're outside of the United States, 99% chance is the only way you're going to be able to watch WWE is on Netflix. Now, originally, of course, the idea was you would have all of the pay-per-views that are being streamed, all of them live streamed, all of Raw, SmackDown, and then the tape library, the pay-per-view library. Well, does not seem like that last one is the case. As Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Wrestling Observer Radio said, quote, all the pay-per-views, everything is going to be on Netflix. As far as your archives, there will be some, but very little. When everything starts on January 1st, they're going to have roughly 40 pay-per-views will be the only things up. Just intermittent, some recent, some from a few years ago. There'll be no WCW. It's all WWE. No Mid-Atlantic, no Mid-South Wrestling, no World Class, none of the tape library stuff. People didn't really watch a lot of it, so that's what happened. That is an interesting note for Dave Meltzer. So, guys, if you are like me and you really loved the WWE network or you really loved the tape library that WWE had, unfortunately, looks like most of that is going to go away because in addition, right, the 40, like the WWE pay-per-views that everyone likes to watch back, you had like a lot of people like myself, well, I guess not enough people like myself, but it's a lot of sickos out there who would go back and watch the original stuff, like go back and watch ECW shows, go back and watch WCW shows, and it looks like when this move goes over to Netflix, at least for international audiences outside of the United States, you won't be able to do that anymore unless you have a VPN, but they're not sponsoring me, so no. But in all seriousness, it does seem like this is a big problem for them because, you know, it's not just even like the WCW stuff or the Mid-Atlantic or whatever. We're talking about like 40 WWE pay-per-views that are going to be on there to start. That is not a lot of pay-per-views when you really think about it. Think about it like this. WWE every year does about like 12 to 15 PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever you want to call them, a year. That does not go that far back. So if you are like me and you want to go back and watch some cool WrestleMania moments from like 20 years ago, are we going to be able to do that internationally? That is the big question. And originally, when WWE moved over to Peacock, there were some similar concerns about the library and how you were going to be able to use it and when everything was going to be uploaded. And it took like nearly a year, really, for everything to be where it is now, where you have the majority of the stuff that used to be on the WWE network over on Peacock. There's still a lot of stuff that's missing, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But this is a problem because a lot of the international audiences too, they were watching some of that stuff. So again, I understand why, like for Netflix, right? You want to put the stuff on there that people are going to watch. And there's probably, or there was a discussion at least about, people, X amount of people are watching this. These are some of the least watched things, even though it might be a lot of people. These are some of the least watched things compared to like our current programming. They're probably like, why would we spend the money to keep that in storage, to keep that on file or whatever in the servers? We'll just not have it on there. And like that could be the case. So unfortunate news though, for all you sickos out there, you're going to have to get a VPN and watch on Peacock. Boom. That's your fix if you really want it. Or you could go and watch some wrestling. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this. Is this a mistake by Netflix and WWE? Should they just put everything on there so it's all there so the fans can pay their hard-earned money and get exactly what they expect? Let me know in the comment section. Also, let me know what you guys think about Logan Paul. Do you think there's any chance he ends up in AEW? Personally, highly doubt it. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for being a loyal watcher. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.